Hi everyone. So, when we talk about communication network of any kind, the first and the foremost data is the data has to be correct, irrespective of whether it's in hospitality, whether it's pharmaceutical, any industry. Now, the easy way to understand that is to look into the current classification of the trademarks, which is from class 1 to class 45. So when I say class 1 to class 45, so basically class 1 to 34 is related to goods. In that itself, there's a lot of things for the pharma sector. If you degrade the formulation, you come under certain class. If you upgrade the formulation, you come under certain class, retinol and all that stuff. I'm not getting into the pharma understanding of the landscape, but what is important here is to understand this COVID-19 situation, and most of the companies from Saint Botanica to XYZ, 99.9% companies, even if they had their registered trademark, even they had the patent, it has a hallucinating effect. Way back when we talked about traditional knowledge through WIPO, that is the World Intellectual Property Organization, it was stated that such products cannot be launched, and because it has hallucinating effect on individuals, they become habitual to such kind of stuff. And what is important here is to appreciate the fact that the international organizations have that cognizance of that data set. We always talk about X country corporate turmeric, X country corporate XYZ. We have to look into ourselves as citizens of India. We are 1.4 billion people. Honestly, today the question, or the real question which has to be asked again, what caused COVID-19? Was it China? The answer is no. Was it India? It is not a one particular country, but definitely China was not the problem statement. Why I stated that is because of this COVID-19 situation. A lot of mushrooming happened in India in terms of the startups. Anything and everything, even if you just boil this water and put it in ice bucket, that was also sellable on any of those platforms which is online. And for that data set, I actually did a lot of primary market research just to understand that data set. And in many cases, you're getting empty packets, and then you have to do the follow-ups. So that is, the liability is on the company. Say for example Miso is liable. The liability has to go there. It's not one party vendor and you say, hey, we are just providing the platform. Boss, if you're providing the platform, you're taking the GST also, right? So GST game has to be played in a proper fashion, otherwise GST itself has to be abolished. Either we have one tax regime in India in terms of whatever you're doing, in terms of whichever term the country wants to use that term. That is point number one. Point number two is to understand the pharma sector. For the longest time, I have been working in biotech and other biochem stuff. A very prominent word, which is apoptosis, is something is not looked upon. And if you go through the trials has to be done at some point of time on animals. Now the trials are done on humans, and humans, they themselves don't know. That is like Homo sapiens sapiens. That being said, all the pharma based blah blah blah, in terms of they never got that patent in their 20 years. They're getting it in the 18th and 19th year, and in the name of affordability, it is going to the masses, but the correct dosage is not being given to the recipient. When the correct dosage is not given to the recipient in terms of biotechnology, the effect is only one thing. Either that particular individual is going to live, or that particular individual or that data set is going to be dead. However, there's something called as consent form. So in the pharma sector, everybody knows about it. I signed myself up for a couple of stuff in terms of AI, pharma and everything, because there was consent. And in the early years, say for example from probably 2012 onwards till 2018, I had delegated that work, but when I saw the results, it was mind-boggling. I mean, that was not what I expected from my associates. And those associates, they started their own practice, blah blah blah. But I'm someone who doesn't want to go after them. But we all know, in the patenting sector, most of the companies who have been deploying these people from any of these tier 2, tier 3 cities, they learn a little bit and then they start providing this service to the individuals and the companies, which itself is causing damage. It's a damage of the biggest order. So I don't know how things would be sorted out, but as I said, just let's go with the ISS stuff, because even the drug controller, he doesn't have cognizance of what apoptosis is all about. When the person itself doesn't have the cognizance of apoptosis and everything, all these trials and all, these are meaningless. And something which doesn't have a meaning should never get a patent. And if something is not getting a patent, it's a trade secret. So kudos to everyone who have been working relentlessly towards this endeavor. We are reaching somewhere. However, communication network is playing a pivotal role. I'm also the CSO of In Time Biotech. So Oleg is after my life. He's like, pretty, get the money back. So how does that work? So I'm going to file an RTI before the government of India stating the fact, because the government is not giving the patent and we don't need the patent per se, because we have zillion people, including me, who are into biohacking. We have been analyzing 400 plus parameters. Now it is much more than that, and the result is you can see the difference. That being said, most of the folks, they're just filing provisional patent application. They don't even file the complete. So that is something stored in the database and in the server. So that has to be disclosed to WIPO, that is the International Bureau, to the Systematic Affairs, the way it is. So at the WTO, the Interpol, the International Labour Organization should work towards it to understand this in a better effort, so that at least these things don't kill humans. We as individuals should understand that we cannot be misusing communication network to kill people. Thank you for watching out the video. Have a great day ahead.